Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a nice Sunday. This is a sports event Sunday, I guess. Oh, I'm really shaky there. We woke up to this. This is what happens when you live in Indiana, in the lake effect region. You don't expect snow, and you wake up to like 3 inches of it. So, not too bad, though. So anyway, on this like snowy morning, I'm going to take a look at a game from Philip duBarry, who is a really cool guy by all accounts. And at any rate, this game is Courtier, and it is a tongue twister at times because, okay, let me think here for a second. I'll get back to that. Anyway, this game is kind of cool. It's in the Tempest universe, so this art right here might look really familiar to you. That princess is the famous princess from Love Letter. And this is what happened. I think AEG had a big hit on their hands with Love Letter, and so they were like, you know what, let's try and capitalize on that. So let's make this game a Love Letter game, sort of, somehow. And so they put this one in the Tempest universe and put that theme on it. And, I mean, that's kind of cool, but it's kind of like, what? Because the Tempest universe isn't really a real thing. I mean, like, it's, I guess, I don't know, it's not like a thing where there's like a lot of lore and stuff for us to, oh, there's my wife's blow dryer, right on time. So I think you guys can still hear me, but at any rate, this game is all about these little boxes here. It's how you can place influence on people and make them support you or feel a certain way about you. So there are these little event cards here that happen, kind of, that tell you what you should do. And this one says, okay, fill all the empty spaces in the Senate with neutral influence markers. So neutral influence markers are these white ones right here. So I filled these up with white cubes. And that just means that these guys are like, I don't know, maybe they're pretty easily influenceable. That's definitely the case mechanically, but I'm not sure what the theme would be, that they're all filled with like neutral white cubes. But neutral white cubes basically fill up the spot. But they don't count as influence towards a certain they don't count towards influence towards a certain faction. So, like, in order for me to influence a leader in this world, I have to have a majority of influence on a person. But then I also have to have them be filled up, like all their influence is filled. So that's actually kind of nice for the Senate to be like that, because now all of a sudden I can influence the Senate pretty easily. And then there's other places where, like, you only have to have one cube in order to like influence people. So I'm going to look at the whole point of this game is to do this almost like set collection of influence. So there's these face up petition cards, and then I have a secret petition card. So here's my secret petition card. It's worth a fair number of points. But I'm actually going to focus with how that event worked on this one here, on this influence card here, which is the magistrate and the emeritus I need to try and get. So I want to try and influence them to try and complete that. So on my turn, I have a hand of cards. I'm allowed to play down a card. And so here are my cards I have. I'm just going to put them down because I'm doing this one-handed. So I have a power card here, a couple power cards. And those are going to be good cards for, like, kind of got you kind of things sometimes. Just more like event cards almost, instead of just like an action of placing a cube sometimes. And then you can tell the difference by the back. So that's an influence card, and that's a power card. And you need to see the power cards look a little more aggressive, whereas the influence cards look like you're being diplomatic. So these are the two cards I have, and this works out really well for me if I'm going to try and, again, get this petition to get the magistrate and the emeritus to be on my team. So on my turn, I could use one of these two cards here to place one of my influence cubes. And I'm going to pretend like I'm the red player here. So this one basically says influence the that group of people. And I'm not even going to try to say it this morning. I'm still like half sleepy, and I will say it. I'm going to say it. The Anthenium influence them. So I'm going to go ahead and play this card down. So I play this card down as like my card that I would play down. Discard it or play it down or whatever. And then I'm going to use that. I want to get influence the emeritus. Remember? So I'm going to put my red cube on the emeritus here. So that wasn't the emeritus, that was the laureate. the Emeritus now has my influence. I have gotten his ear. He listens to what I have to say. And then the game goes on, and I mean, like, we could pretend like Luke's playing with me and Kristen's playing with me, and they would put their green cubes on places and yellow cubes, and we would fill this thing up with cubes over the course of a game. But then also, I draw back up. I can pick from either one of these stacks of cards. I forgot to mention that. You draw back up to a hand of 5 cards again, and so then I would have my 5 cards again, but I don't really care about having 5 cards for this little video because I'm just going to show you this. So then I have a Senate card as well, Influence the Senate. So remember, I want to get the Emeritus down here, and then all the way up here, I want to get the Magistrate. So this card says, place 1 influence on a Senate member, and you are able to remove or replace a marker belonging to a player to anyone that doesn't control the royal family. So the neutral player obviously doesn't control the royal family, so I really care about the Magistrate, so I'm removing these white ones and put my red one there. So now, for me to meet the conditions of filling a petition, I have to have both of the people I'm trying to influence have to have full influence. They have to be fully influenced. Well, the Magistrate now is fully influenced, and I have to have majority influence on both of them. So if the white cubes were yellow or some other player's cubes, then I wouldn't be able to have influenced him. But since it's neutral cubes, they are like basically a placeholder that makes it just easier for me to influence him. So now what I would do is I would say, you know what, I have influence on the Magistrate and the Emeritus. And so look right here. I've completed this petition. So now I have that. I score 6 points on the little track over here. And now this gets cleared off. So I don't have influence there, and these all come off too. And they go back to the pool. And then I flip another card here. So now it says, each player gains 3 influence markers from the reserve. So you start off with 15 influence markers, and then there's a pool, like a reserve of extra markers. So you get some more markers if you did that. And you keep going through these cards. There's somewhere in the neighborhood of 13 cards in there. You can play with a few more if you want to, or a few less if you want to, if you want a slightly longer or shorter game. But there's a card in here, and I don't think I actually even have it in here, that's called The Queen is Arrested. And so once the Queen is Arrested card pops up, you just stop everything. The game is over. We don't do anything else. We count our points up. If you win, you gloat. If you lose, you cry a little maybe, and you move on. And so this game, it's a kind of cool little game. Little medium weight type set collection sort of game, but kind of set in a cool way. It also has kind of a cool auction mechanic when you first start playing. So like when you first start playing, you set up 4 different hands of cards. So you'd make, like some hands of cards, and everybody looks at the hands of cards, and it's not really like drafting cards. You don't draft for them, you auction them. So like I would put like, you know what, I think this one's worth, like there's, however many hands of cards out. I'm just going to do this for an example. Like I have, these 2 hands of cards, and this one's really great, so I bid 1 on it. Well, then I'm going to pretend Luke's the white player. White player is always neutral, but since I have the white cubes out, I'm going to use them as Luke. Luke says, no, wait, man, that one's really good. I want to pay 2 for that one. So now I have a choice to either say, okay, I'm going to go back over here and just do 1 on this cube, on this guy, and now we all have something. So he gets that hand for 2, and I get this one for 1. Or I can say, you know what, forget that. This hand is so much better. I'm paying 3 for it. And then Luke's got to decide the same thing. Do I want to pay 4 for that one, or do I want to pay 1 for the other here? So that's how you kind of start with your hand of cards, which is kind of a cool thing, I think. Oh man, I should have shot this camera up at my wife. She would have been so happy. She's like getting ready for church right now, has her hair up in rollers kind of thing. And it was not rollers, but she's mocking me. So it would have been some nice feedback for me to just like shoot that up at her real quick. So anyway, this is Courtier, and it's a tongue twister when you're trying to explain it, because these are cadres and courtiers are like your role, and then these are is it cadres? Is that what they're called? But anyway, it's like you get these when you're reading through the directions. It's like almost every other sentence is a tongue twister, because you're trying to say, okay, you can either influence this coterie as a courtier, or, I mean, it's kind of funny. But this game, mechanically, I think it probably could have been about anything of doing political power. And so that's why I'm pretty sure AEG said, hey, we're going to make this in the Tempest universe. With the Tempest universe theming, I could take it or leave it. But this is I like this game. I think this game is better in 2017 than Love Letter is. And now you can hear ukulele in the background. So, Luke, come out here and play your ukulele for all the folks on Facebook.
What?
Come out here and play your ukulele for the folks on Facebook. I'm not being serious. You don't have to do that. He's such a teenager. He's like, "Are you dead? Are you serious?"
No, I was just wondering.
I will be so embarrassed if you make me play a ukulele.
I thought you might have been suspicious.
So at any rate, hey, people kind of in passing have asked me, hey, what's up with your table in these videos? Like, why is there this like gray thing on top of your tables? Are you playing on the floor or what's going on here? I'm just gonna tell you that I have like a regular wooden table underneath here, but this is like almost like not memory foam, but like a foam mat that I got. Like I got these for like, I don't know, $5 a piece at Lowe's, and they make a really good table topper. So like when you want to pick up cards, you can just pop them up like that, you know. So like I don't know, it's just a really nice little table topper. So that's something that's just for people to know. Anyway, this game's pretty good. Pretty quick setup, pretty quick teardown. Like maybe a filler plus game, a little more than filler game. As far as if you're playing some heavier stuff, but mostly it's Philip duBarry, who is by all accounts an awesome person, and I'm going to take a look at a couple of his other games that I own that I think are pretty awesome too. I actually have one that's much higher on my list than this game by Philip duBarry. And the other thing too is pay attention to the comments on this video, because there's an outside chance that Philip duBarry will see this video and can probably correct some rules that I have wrong, or like talk about like why he did what he did. But he's a really great guy, Midwestern guy, like with a lot of like, I don't know, I feel like I could get along with him in real life too, like one of those kinds of guys. So anyway, that's it. Any questions or anything before I hang it up here? Components here. These are all the like event cards that can happen. The stacks of influence cards. The cubes you get. These are the petitions. And they have like a little like letter on the back of them. So they're definitely incorporating this into the love letter whole thing. It's like almost like this is how you got the love letter to the princess. I don't know. So anyway, anything else? Going, gone. All right, thanks for this little bit of ADD fueled, like distracted board game spotlight.